Now, Joao Lourenco was sworn Tuesday as Angola's president, succeeding José Eduardo dos Santos, who has been at the helm of the nation for the past 38 years. Now, Lourenco is pledging to revive Africa's third largest economy and tackle rampant corruption in what he calls an economic miracle. For more on Angola's new president, I'm joined by Joao Santa Rita, VOA Portuguese reporter and host of a daily 30-minute radio show on Angola. Joao, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, now the new president sworn in today. First, what did he say that you think stood out?
Well, I think there are 3 points in this speech that really, for me and for other people I've been talking to, our stringers in Angola, stood out. The first is that he emphasized the fight against corruption, which has been one of the main topics in his campaign. Second, he promised that there will be more opening on the state media. He said that the government and government official and MPLA party leaders must get used to live under criticism. And so he wants according to what he said, he wants the state media to be more open to opposition points of view. This was a big criticism during the election campaign, that the opposition parties hardly had any time in the state-controlled media. Mm-hmm. And third, I think this is a very important point, he said that he wants to have a more opening to the civil society and that he wants to have regular meetings with Angolan NGOs. Yeah. There are many. And so I think these are the 3 main points that stood out in his speech.
But the fact remains, he's still from the same party as the outgoing president. Question is, and he said actually that he will make sure he's not a puppet of the outgoing president. Yeah. Is there any evidence that the party can shift in its policies, or this one man can actually steer the country away from the influence of the former president?
Well, there's a saying in Portuguese, and this is what a guy from UNITA, the main opposition party, says, ver para crer, which means see to believe. Exactly. Okay? Yeah. And so it remains to be seen. Of course, we don't know who's going to go into the government. During the campaign, it was interesting that he had said at a certain point that he was ready to have people who are not from the party in his government. And I gather there's been some contacts between him and certain former elements of the MPLA that along the years have left because they were disappointed. Yeah. And so they might be called in.
But then Eduardo dos Santos remains the president of the party.
Exactly.
Which in some respects someone would think might have influence even in how people are selected into government.
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be very interesting. Now, what a guy from the party told me is that, look, Joao Lourenco is also a part of the political bureau where the decisions are taken. And therefore, all the decisions are going to be taken after a debate. And what Joao Lourenco said in the speech is that he's not going to be the president of the MPLA, he's going to be the president of the state. And therefore, there will be 2 different things. Now, these things, as you know, take time.
Sure. We'll wait to see.
Exactly.
And then we'll make an assessment. Whatever that is. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Joao, as always. Well, Joao Santa Rita is a VOA Portuguese reporter.